let's talk, because there's some talk about baseball, D-Man, and of all the possibilities that they kind of throw out there and throw it up against the wall, see what sticks. This one looks like it's doable. Obviously, they need some help from the scientists and the doctors and all that. But what do you think of this 3 divisions based on geography?
I think it's reasonable to throw it out there. I do wonder, I believe in the scenario you're talking about, why the Braves would be in the Central and the Pirates would be in the East. But I think MLB's got to take on as many ideas as it possibly can. I would prefer you keep the divisions intact. The divisions that you're going to ride with going forward, and try to, have as much continuity as you possibly can. But I realize it's very difficult to do.
No, but it also seems to me, if this does work, if this is what they wind up with, and it does work somewhat, that they open the door to talk about some permanent realignment there. I know Paul Dolan has been in favor of that for quite some time.
That's exactly my point. To me, if you're going to play a season, even a truncated season, 100 games, by the way, I think that should be the minimum for a Major League Baseball season. You really can't go much lower than 82, I suppose, one more than the majority, but preferably 100 to 120 if you have to go that route. But if you're going to rearrange the divisions, you're setting the stage for that to occur beyond this year. And that's fine if that's what you want to do. Okay. But if you're going to go back to the normal divisions, why not try to keep the divisions the way they are? I think one of the compromise solutions to what was proposed in the 3-division format is you can't realistically expect games to be played in every team's ballpark, because certain parts of the country are hit much harder by the COVID than others.
Well, you're talking about the Yankees and the Mets.
Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about. In addition to the Cubs, the White Sox, the Tigers, the Dodgers, the Angels, I think that you have to avoid COVID hotspots, because the worst thing you would ever want is for you to be playing baseball in, let's say, September, and round 2 of the COVID or a COVID mutation comes up, and the next thing you know, you're playing in a hotbed. So what you can do is cut down the number of venues in which you play. You have major league venues, but you don't have as many as 30. You cut down, I think you can go as low as 8 if need be.
Well, interesting. My concern, and there's so many things that could come up here. My concern would be, while the players want to get paid for a full season, what if, for example, Francisco Lindor or Mike Trout or somebody like this, that, they just say, I'm not on board with this, and I don't want to play. I don't know if they're in violation of contracts. I don't know if they have to let them beg off if they want to beg off. I'm not sure what would happen in a case like that, and that's just one more thing they have to think about.
That's true. I don't know what the answer to that is either. Let me just say this too. Your previous guest, a great man, Mr. Snodgrass. He is talking about high schools as opposed to pros, and to me, there's an expectation level from a professional standpoint that is much higher than the high school, and that's it almost goes without saying, but I said it anyway. Therefore, I think that the professionals should make every effort to play this year. That's why I would respectfully disagree with you, Les. I think they should try to play. I'm not asking for them to play in front of fans, but I think that there would be enough interest generated by television and streaming that they could actually have a season, albeit a shorter season, played out in Major League ballparks in front of no fans.
Well, Reuters took a poll on if Americans would attend sporting events when they reopen. Let's take a look. 17% of American adults said they would attend professional sporting events when they reopen. I assume that would also go with concerts and things of that sort. 59% of the fans said that before a vaccine is available, sports leagues should hold games with no in-person fans. I'm not sure if that 17% on the top one deals with Americans who have gone to baseball games or sporting events, or if that's just the entire population. But that's kind of a figure that these sports are going to have to think about and concern themselves with how they get people back once they do try to do that.
Yeah, Les, but I would caution the second part of that graphic, the 59% saying they're waiting on a vaccine. Honestly, I don't want to be pessimistic, Pete, but I'm still waiting on a foolproof vaccine for any of the coronavirus strains. If you sit around and wait for a vaccine and think that's going to be the automatic elixir, I think you're in for a long, difficult road. I think you're going to have to deal with this strain of the coronavirus, COVID-19. But people that think that a vaccine is automatically going to solve all the issues, I just disagree with.
No, it's not going to clear up everything for everybody. There's always going to be negativity involved in that. What do you think that? Well, somebody said to me that people don't care about baseball that much anymore, and I happen to think for the morale of the country, baseball needs to come along at that time before football, just to get everybody used to what we used to have and where we have to go from here. Do you have any thoughts in regards to that?
Oh, absolutely, Les. I mean, look no further than the popularity of the NFL draft. I mean, in the COVID outbreak, in the COVID pandemic, I get that the NFL draft is always popular, but there's no denying the numbers from this year. And they did it. By the way, big hand for the NFL and to Roger Goodell for pulling it off virtually the way they did. But I think that you are allowed, whether you're a diehard sports fan or a casual sports fan, you're allowed to want to see real sports. You're allowed to do that without having to cower in shame in the corner and go, "Oh, I'm so sorry I mentioned sports during a pandemic." I mean, people have to somehow, some way get on with their lives, and that includes professional athletes, owners, managers, coaches, GMs, and whatnot. So, as long as you're responsible about it and you take measured approaches with it, I don't have any issue with you saying, "Hey, I want to see sports back."